People don't like to say that they're willing to pay for something. So I would argue these are actually probably underestimated.
There's value to these things that you're using. You are getting them for free, and in exchange for that value of that service, you give up some data.
I guarantee you whatever cost is prescribed for privacy abuses will pale in comparison to what these users are willing to pay. There's this interesting report that just came out here that you can see on how much consumers are willing to pay for a lot of free apps that you would be familiar with. YouTube at the top, $4.20 a month. I mean, that's a lot. That's $50 a year. And by the way, when you're doing surveys and asking people how much they're willing to pay, people don't like to say that they're willing to pay for something. So I would argue these are actually probably underestimated, underrepresenting what people would actually be willing to pay, because I don't think people are that truthful when filling out this kind of information. But if you look at the roughly 15 to 20 companies on here, YouTube, Google Drive, Facebook, LinkedIn, FaceTime, Reddit, Venmo, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, Yelp, all platform companies. Which ones are not really platforms? Google Maps. I'd say Waze could kind of be a collaboration platform, joined by Nick Johnson, co-author with me on the book, Modern Monopolies. Waze is kind of platform, but not Google Maps, right?
Well, Waze has a lot of this user-generated content. People are basically inputting where police showing up. They're constantly giving their data back to the platform on traffic times,
crashes, speed traps, cameras.
And Google Maps sucks in a lot of that data from Waze, but there's a lot less of that kind of user input on Google Maps. It's a lot more
they have a badge
government
system
sources
on
and
Waze.
Private partnerships and this kind of stuff, and there's much less of a user input aspect to that.
Exactly. Yeah, and Google Translate, that's a good linear tool, but not a platform. So basically, all these platforms are free. This goes back to the whole conversation about even if these antitrust regulators successfully say that the tech monopolies are inappropriately using your data for privacy reasons. Okay, what is the cost of abusing your data and violating privacy rules? Okay, prescribe some cost to that. Now look at this data. Look at how much consumers are willing to pay for these things that are free. And I guarantee you whatever cost is prescribed for privacy abuses will pale in comparison to what these users are willing to pay.
So the challenge with that too is that you talk about the value of your data. Your data on its own is really not worth very much. It's what Google, Facebook, and so on are able to do with that data by matching with all these other people's data. So you get back to the challenge of how much you actually, if you had to pay for this data, how much are you going to pay each person? It's not going to be very much. So that's not going to make up the difference. And then what we really have here is not this kind of red herring where you are the product because it's free. You have a barter exchange, which is what this is really getting at, which is there's value to these things that you're using. You are getting them for free. And in exchange for that value of that service, you give up some data.
Exactly. And last note on this, Amazon, I think, had this thing. I don't remember the exact details, but I saw it was like they pay $10 for your data or something like that. I don't really remember all the particulars, but they spent $10. I know that. And every single one of these apps, every single one of these people are saying they're willing to pay more than $10, right? Yelp at the bottom, $1.87 a month, more than $10. So basically, the privacy argument that these things are horrible and antitrust and we need to break them up, it's just not going to win. Thanks for watching our latest clip. If you enjoy the content we're creating on Winner Take All, please feel free to leave us a comment, subscribe, and definitely join us on our next live stream.